sketching linear graphs. And when I say sketching, I mean I want to draw a picture of this. I want to see what it looks like so that I can actually have an understanding of what it looks like. Really important fact for us to be able to do. So, in order to sketch it, I really only need two pieces of information. The intercepts, I want to know where does it hit this line, where does it hit this line, and then I'm just going to connect those two as a dot to dot. That's going to be my line. Alrighty, so let's go through it. First thing I need to do, find my x and y intercepts. So, y int is when x equals 0, y is equal to minus 3 times 0 plus 6. The y int is 6. Let's do the x int is when y equals 0. Take 6 from both sides. Divide both sides by minus 3. Cancels that, and I'm left with positive 2. Alrighty, so that's step one. So first of all, before we move on, have a look at your equation. Make sure you know what your x and y intercepts are. Alrighty, so let's have a go through. So for the y-intercept, x equals 0, minus 2 times 0 plus 4, y is going to be equal to 4. That's my y-int. X-int, on the other hand, is going to be when y is equal to 0. Take 4 from both sides. Divide both sides by negative 2. And we get 2 is equal to x-intercept. Alrighty, so at this point, all we've had to do is find our x-intercept and our y-intercept. So nothing new up until this point. But as we learnt last lesson as well, that tells us where it hits in the x-axis and the y-axis. The y-axis is our y-intercept, and our x-axis is our x-intercept. So let's just draw a little picture. And let's ask, where is, on the y-axis, 6? Well, it's going to be about here, right? Because this is my y-axis. And what this is telling me is that it's going to hit about there. That's what this says. Same thing for the x-intercept. Where on the x-axis is 2? Well, if this is 6, this is about 2. And for probably neatness sake, apologies, programs are just opening up on their own now. So, without having to do anything, I should probably label these. So this one was 6, and this one was 2. Now this isn't quite a line yet, but the only thing that I'm missing from it is the line part. Ooh, a little bit ugly. Let's try that again. Alrighty. And once I have that, just got to write my label. Y is equal to minus 3x plus 6. And that is a sketch of the graph minus 3x plus 6. Y equals minus 3x plus 6. So, if you know the x-intercept and the y-intercept, drawing a graph's nice and easy. Have a go at your one. We've already got the y and x-intercept. Just try to plot them on. Alrighty. So draw up our axes. X, we've got y. So the y-intercept is 4. And the x-intercept is 2. Connect those lines up. And we get y is equal to minus 2x plus 4. Alrighty. let's try some more. So this time I'm going to do it all in one go. So y int x equals 0. So my y int is negative 12. My x int is when y equals 0. Add 12 to both sides. Divide both sides by 4. And I'm left with my x-intercept being 3. Alrighty, so let's plot. Oh, might need a bit more negative. Ah well. So negative 12 I'm going to set to be about down here, because remembering this is my y-axis. And my x-intercept is on this line, and if that's 12, this will be about 3. Let's draw a straight line through them. That is a sketch of y is equal to 4x minus 12. So, pause the video, see if you can do the same thing for your one. Alrighty, so, same thing. Let's find the y-intercept, x-intercept, and go. So the y-intercept is when x equals 0. Minus 2. X-intercept is when y equals 0. Add 2 to both sides. Divide both sides by 2. 1 equals x int. Oh, I didn't write int for either of these. I'm just going to quickly go back and do that. Now that I've got that, drop me axes. So for y, 2 is about down here. And for x, 1 is about here. So 1 minus 2. Draw a straight line through them. And that is a sketch of y is equal to 2x minus 2. Alrighty. Let's have a go at these two as well. So these ones might not have as nice numbers as we work through them, but that's not going to be an issue. So y int x equals 0. X int y equals 0. So y is equal to 5 times 0 minus 4. Y is equal to minus 4. 0 is equal to no, 5x, sorry. Add 4 to both sides. Divide both sides by 5. And I'm left with 4/5 is equal to my x-intercept. Forgot to write int up here as well. Alrighty, so I've now got that information. Now I need to plot it. A little bit harder when I've got this 4/5 running around. So how am I going to plot 4/5? Well, I just need to think about, on a regular number line, where would 4/5 actually fall? Alrighty, so for my y-intercept, -4, that's down here somewhere. 4/5, well, if I think about a normal number line for a second, 0, 1, 2, where does 4/5 appear? Well, as a decimal, if you wanted to work it out, 4 divided by 5 is just 0.8. Well, 0.8 lives about here on the regular axis. So, on my y-axis, it's going to live in the same place. 0.8. It's nearly 1, but not quite a whole. Draw my straight line through. Y is equal to, forgotten the equation already, 5x minus 4. Last one for you to have a go at. Oh, no, we got one more after this. So have a go at this one. Alrighty, so your y-intercept x equals 0, y equal to 2 times 0 plus 3, 3. X-intercept is going to be when our y equals 0. Take 3 from both sides. Divide both sides by 2. And we're left with minus 3 on 2 is equal to x. Now this is definitely the little bit of a harder one. We're thinking about where does negative 3 on 2 live on the x-axis? Well, this is a much harder question. And I don't blame you if you manage to find the y-intercept but not the x-intercept. Because negative 3 on 2 is a much harder one. Y-intercept's still there on the line. But where is this minus 3 on 2 going to go? Well, I always like to go back to the number line. So let's just go out for the number line for a second. 0, negative 1, negative 2. So where does negative 3 on 2 sit? Well, let's figure it out. Negative 3 divided by 2 is negative 1.5. So on the number line, negative 1.5 lives about there. Right? So on my x-axis, it should live about the same place. So if this is 3, 1.5 is going to be about here. And it's there because that's my x-axis, negative 1.5, which is the same as negative 3 on 2. Draw my straight line through. Y is equal to 2x plus 3. Alrighty. Oh, I think I've got, 4 more examples. Now these are our exceptions, right? We've been looking at standard equations now. Now remember, these are kind of like the ones we were doing last lesson. Let's have a look. So, y-intercept is when x equals 0. So y is equal to 4 times 0. Or 0. So my y-intercept is 0. Now, if you remember what I said last lesson, you won't even have to do this step. But in the case that you've forgotten, let's just check. 0 equals to 4x, divide both sides by 4, and 0 is equal to my x-intercept. Alrighty, so when x equals 0, y equals 0, and when y equals 0, x equals 0. So my only intercept point is right here, because both x and y intercept at the origin. But then I've got a question. Does my line look like this, or like this, or like this, or like this? As long as it goes through the middle, it could be any of them. So this is when I'm going to have to be a little bit more creative about my thinking. For those of you who've been having a go at the grid system, you would know that the gradient of this line is 4. Now 4 is a positive, which means that what it's saying is that for every 1 step across, we're going to take 4 steps up. 1 step across, 4 steps up. So let's use that. 1 step to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps up, and now I'm going to draw my line. And that is a sketch of y is equal to 4x. Have a go at this one. Remembering a negative gradient means it's going to be taking steps down. Have a go. So the y-intercept, x equals 0, y is equal to minus 3 times 0, y is equal to 0. What did I say before? If the y-intercept's 0, the x-intercept's 0, so I'm not even going to bother. Equals x int. I know that, because they're both 0 at the same time. Let's draw up my axes. So, once again, we know where they hit here. But where am I going to be able to get another point? Well, negative 3 means for every step across, I take 1. I take 1, 2, 3 steps down, and there's my second point, ready for a sketch. Y is equal to minus 3x. That leads us to the weird, easiest ones to deal with, which is, how do I sketch a graph of y equals 5 or x equals 3? Well, because there's no x, I know that it's either a vertical or a horizontal line. Question is, how to remember which one's which? Well, I just think about this. Where is y is equal to 5? We've been doing this all lesson. Where, if I'm thinking of an intercept, y int equals 5. Where is y is equal 5? Right here. Now, if I draw a vertical line, it's going to be like that, which I don't think really makes sense. If y equals 5, why would it just cover the whole y-axis? No, it's not that way. So whenever we see it like this, we know it must be a horizontal line going through y is equal to 5, and we write y is equal to 5. That's the end of that graph. Same thing for the next one. Do you want to have a go yourself? Pause the video, have a crack. But otherwise, draw up my axes. Same question. Where is x equals 3? Well, on the x-axis, 3 is about here. And once again, question, is it horizontal or vertical? Well, if it's horizontal, it's the entire x-axis, so why did it matter that it was x equals 3? Has to be vertical. X equals 3. And that is how we sketch lines. Lots of different types. We have our straightforward lines. We have ones where we've got a bit of negative happening. Some where we've got a bit of decimal happening. Our ones that go through the origin. Those are probably the most tricky. If you're not familiar with gradient, those are going to be quite hard to do. And our weirdly difficult, but somehow so simple, vertical and horizontal lines. Alrighty, I hope you can sketch some graphs. See you next time.